Hello. Well, it's that time of the semester where we really want to find out what you have absorbed from the information that you read, that you heard in discussion, that you led discussion with. So something in inside of you said, I took this course because I want to know more about interpersonal communication with my friends, with my family, with the workplace, or even if not when you registered for it, now you should say, I've been observing people's behaviors, communicating with friends and family and workplace environment. And now I really want to focus on one area in particular. So the essay that you did before this really was focused on that particular chapter that you wanted to focus your interpersonal communication skills on improvement or researching to know more. And that's why we're here. So we do have a research paper, and it is called the assimilation paper because you are assimilating the ideas that you read about, you heard about, and now you're expanding on them with reading other articles. So I am going to pull up and show you your assignment and equally explain it to you in this fashion. So here's your assignment directions. Here they are. Okay. So the assimilation paper is the name of the research paper you will prepare and write and submit by Wednesday, July 27th for this course, 11:59 p.m. So hopefully everyone has opened this paper way before the 5th week. I did suggest that, and hopefully this gives you enough time to write and rewrite and read and correct and proof, because it is a paper and it is supposed to be error-free and very concise with the material that we are asking you to write about. So this is your final exam, is this paper. So you want to put your best foot forward and prepare the research paper with the information that you have obtained and have added to. So during your research and preparation, you can email me anytime. Well, not anytime. My day ends at 3 p.m. So in the 11th hour, Wednesday at 11:30 p.m., I am not going to be answering your questions. So make sure you have your paper outlined, and if you run into any problems, even selecting a topic, you leave yourself enough time according to my schedule in answering your questions. So again, my day ends at 3 p.m. So here are the requirements. In a well-written 4 to 5 page paper, research an interpersonal skill that has a dysfunctional behavior. So something's not working. We call this a phenomenon when something doesn't align. So interpersonal skill that has dysfunctional behavior or phenomena that needs to be studied in order for interpersonal communication to be successful. So right now, I'm going to skip to number 1, select a topic from the phenomenon list. So I'm going to stop sharing this screen and put up your topic. Okay, so phenomena, the object of a person's perception. These are some ideas to think about, but not limited to. So you can select other topics or combine topics on this list. Select a phenomena that is utmost importance to you after completing the discussions and readings. So interpersonal attraction. While you were reading, studying, listening to discussions, is your research, is this the area that you want to develop why we are certainly attracted to some people compared to other people? What is interpersonal attraction? Relations with others. What do you want to investigate of how you relate with others? You can change the others to workplace environment, others that you don't know. So you can make it more specific in that respect. Group dynamics. How does this course and the material affect small group communication or any type of group work, teamwork? Social influence, how does that affect interpersonal communication? We have social media, we have um, uh, mass media, communication, computer mediated communication. I'm so used to saying CMC. Um, so these are all ways that we have an influence from media, and how does this affect our interpersonal communication? Understanding common thought and language. Not many people select this one, but I would, because every person's dialect socially changes, usually within a 10-year span. If I put up jargon from the 1940s, probably you will not understand it. I have a hard time at 63 understanding you at 19. So it does require more a linguistic approach to why language changes, and how that affects interpersonal communication. And you had a hint of it in our last discussion question. Empathy is a phenomenon because we have a hard time having that empathic listening skill. Putting another person's feelings before ours, listening to hear, not just listening to hear what we want to hear. Social thinking, again, that could align with mass media, or it doesn't. When you have your conversations, how your social environment, your socialness with other people, what is the thought process? Some of us love to divulge too much information, and so we're going to investigate, research. Intrapersonal communication, communication within yourself, and we all understand that from that chapter. In order to be an effective interpersonal communication skills proficient person, we first have to understand our intrapersonal communication. Perception, you can have your own paper on identifying how perception helps, hurts, hinders our interpersonal skills listening. And when I was in this class, that was my topic. So again, listening is dysfunctional. We are not really taught how to listen. In school, we test you, but are we testing your memory? So listening does have, an improvement. And why are we terrible listeners? Or maybe we're not. So maybe your paper can focus on our effective listening habits in this society. Nonverbal communication, that's a biggie. So you may have to narrow that down a bit. But if that's your interest and that's your avenue, what is going to be the area that you research? You can even just research nonverbal communication of gesturing, computer mediated, as you're looking at me, I'm broadening my eyes. Does that affect how you listen to me? So there's so many. There is a book, it's called What Every Body is Saying. So it does have chapters of different nonverbal communication codes. Decision making, interpersonal communication, friends, family, workplace. How do we problem solve? How do we use the information here to be empathic and not just a controlled, but this is the way we're going to do it. And then we have problem solving. This is an interpersonal skill, how to manage everyone's difference of opinion and how to get the task solved. Assertiveness, and that's all in language. How to be persuasive and with the language that you are using. Negotiation also is language, how to negotiate. Reflecting. There was a portion of your chapter that I love that always talked about reflecting, how you use this information and apply it to your own personal listening and observing, which is a great thing because we want to observe our behavior. So next time we are faced with the same, do we want to improve upon it? How do we go improve upon it? Barriers to effective interpersonal communication. Again, this is more probably general. So we have barriers in listening, we have barriers, and you can create whichever barriers you want to write about. Building rapport. Some people, when we talk about it, have a hard time starting a conversation. You know, we usually say, you know, what's your name? If you just walked into a face-to-face communication, any kind of class. So having a great conversation is building rapport. And we're used to just asking questions. Now, is that a conversation? Facilitation skills. How do you facilitate? How do you have, if it's a group process, how do you incorporate facilitation in group? So these are all phenomena that require you to research in order to add to your own interpersonal skills proficiency sets, like having a tool belt. So you do have to research what it is, why it's dysfunctional, and how to improve it. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. Communication is difficult in situations. I know there was a video I put up, but sometimes, how do you talk and have a communication in difficult situations, bereavement, even problem solving? It's a difficult situation. Conflict resolution, how do you resolve? How do you manage conflict and resolve it? And mediation, which is a wonderful career. And it's all about, again, being empathic, building rapport so everybody feels comfortable. So some of these you can even have a combination, and giving and receiving feedback. Many students don't like that. They get that, or they don't look at you non-verbally when you say, oh, you should have paused more in your speech. Yeah. So, they're kicking and screaming through life. So why is it hard to receive constructive criticism? And the biggie, interviewing. So why doesn't an interview always go perfectly? You could be so prepared for it. Again, we're not building an interpersonal relationship with the interviewer because you don't know them, but we want to apply these skills to the first time I meet you. How do I manage myself? So that's interpersonal skills. How do I manage the material that I'm talking about with you? Because many of us in conversation, we talk too much of our personal life rather than the interviewer is only looking for you as a match to the job description. So when you're asked, tell me a little bit about yourself, it's about how you relate to the job. So, born in the Bronx, I worked as a, bistro. That's not what they want to hear. But if you worked in the restaurant field, helping and serving and communicating with people certainly is a footstone, a stepping stone into why you want to work with people if that's your career mode. So I hope I hit a little bit on each one of these topics to give you enough